Hey everybody, I posted a video a little while ago unboxing a kit guitar that I got from bargainmusician.com. It's a semi-hollow body Les Paul, and I have now finished it, and I've had a few people ask me for a follow-up since it's completed to see how it turned out. I'm pretty happy with it actually. It was a really good project. It was a lot of fun building it. I'm not a super craftsman, and so it wasn't too complicated, but it was enough that I had to kind of learn what I was doing and get it put together correctly and set everything up. So it was a great learning experience, putting it together and learning a few things here and there, and also getting it set up the way that I want it and the way I like it. So I'll give you a quick rundown, and I'll show some pictures here of it before when I unboxed it quickly, and maybe I can pull one of the stock photos off of their website here. But it's a flame maple veneer on the top on a basswood body. It is a maple neck. On their website I think it says it's a Blackwood Tech fretboard, which is kind of like cheap version of rosewood, I don't know. But it plays good. The frets on this thing were set up very well. I leveled the fretboard with the truss rod and went to level the frets, and they were perfect. I didn't really have to do anything to the frets, which was great. So overall, the quality of the kit was very good in my opinion. It was the first guitar I've built from a kit, so I'm not an expert, but I'm really happy with it. I did a few customization things to it to make it a little better, in my opinion. You'll notice the pickups are not the pickups that come with the kit. I got these, actually they're Gretsch humbuckers that somebody took out of a Gretsch hollow body, and then I bought them on Craigslist for pretty cheap when I was on a work trip. I found them. I also replaced the nut with a Tusk nut, and I picked up at Guitar Center. The cheapo plastic Chinese nut that comes on this thing is a piece of junk, and it was actually way too tall, which totally screwed up the action on the upper end of the fretboard. It was way too tall, and rather than taking that plastic one off and filing it down and fitting it and putting it on, I thought, well, if I'm going to take it off, I might as well replace it with a better one. And this Tusk nut is great. I was able to fit it perfectly. The action is very low down here, and adjusted the bridge and got it set where I want it. I top wrap the strings over the tailpiece, just my personal preference to have a little less angle on the bridge. I bought Gibson knobs just because I thought they looked better than the gold ones that came in the kit. They look better on this guitar. I stained the back with a Cabot brand. I had to think there for a minute. It's a Cabot brand wood stain that you can buy probably at Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever. Stained it with that. My clear coat is with True Oil. Okay, on the top here, it's about 20-25 coats. I put it on really thick. The stuff hardens up really good, very glossy, looks really good. I'll put some better pictures that I took in some really good lighting in here where you can see some of those for a minute. But the blue dye is actually a wood dye. It's not a stain, but I got it at a woodworking shop here in my town, where I live here in Texas, and it's a dye called Trans Tint, and you can get any color you want. You can dilute it with water to lighten it up, thin it out a little bit if you don't want it so bold. But I experimented with that. It's the first time I'd ever used it, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. A lot of different options you can do. I painted the headstock black. I intend, I got to put my truss rod cover back on. I haven't done that yet. I intend to do some kind of a logo here on the headstock that I'll do eventually. Haven't done it yet, but anyway, the tuners, I know a lot of people that get these kits replace the tuners. I've been happy with them. They're the ones that came in the kit. I actually hadn't played this thing for about a week, and I just now picked it up to shoot this video. Perfectly in tune. Everything was, I went through with a tuner and hit each string, and everything was great. So it's holding the tune really well. When you sit and play it a while, it holds the tune well, so I got no complaints about that. everything else on the guitar was in really good shape. I've been really happy with it. I get a lot of compliments on it. The tone, the pickups help with that, I'm sure. I never did use the kit pickups, so I can't tell you if they're any good or not. But it sounds great. It plays great. Most people that pick it up, they ask me what kind it is. They don't know. They don't realize offhand that it's a homemade kit thing, you know. So anyway, I'm not much of a guitar player, but I'll play a few things so you can hear it. I'm playing this through my Fender Blues Junior, and this is set pretty clean. So we'll just... So yeah, some pretty good tone there. Let me get some gain in here for you. So anyway, excuse my mediocre guitar playing at best. Anyway, great guitar kit. I've been very happy with it. My brother, who is kind of a guitar snob, in my opinion, he and I don't have very similar opinions on guitars very often. But he came over, picked it up, and played it, and commented that he was very impressed with how it turned out. It was much better than he expected. So that was a nice compliment to me, and to also, I believe, to the kit. I got it from, like I said, bargainmusician.com. The customer service there was great. I think I mentioned in my other video, when I ordered the original kit, there was a little bit of a flaw in the body. I sent them an email. They sent me a FedEx label, shipped it back to them, had a new one in a couple of weeks, ready to go. The start to finish on the build took me a few months, but I was only working on it here and there on the weekends and a little, you know, so when it comes down to actual hours, I couldn't tell you. I don't know. It was a lot, but it was fun. So it wasn't like it was a job, you know, work for me. It was just a hobby and something fun to do. And I got a cool guitar out of it, and I don't think for the money that I invested in this that you could go down to Guitar Center and buy a much better guitar. Nor could you buy one that you built, that you know, customized, that you can, you know, you have some bragging rights when you do that, and when you have your guitar that you built. At least I am, you know, it gives me some pride to play something that I built and that I worked on. And I will say one thing before I forget. When you wire this thing up, the semi-hollow body is miserable to wire this thing. You'll notice there are no cavities on the back to access any of your wiring. So all of your pots, all of your pickups, well, your pickups obviously are routed, but your switch here, all of it has to go through these little holes, these F-holes in the front. And it is not fun to try and solder all this stuff together and then install it, especially this switch right here. The channel that you have to put that through is very narrow in there, and it's just very difficult to get it installed. I think it took me 3 or 4 tries, you know, the solder wires getting pulled and yanked and breaking wires and solders. So I finally got it in there, got it installed, and I swore I would never take this thing apart again because it was a nightmare to get it wired up, especially being the first one that I ever did. You also can't hide the wiring very well. You can probably see the wires in there. I mean, you know, somebody that is better at this than me probably could. The capacitor is very short, and so the leads on that, you have to connect two of those pots together, and so there's just not room to hide it. It doesn't bother me any. I think it looks good the way it is, and it's one of those things that you don't really notice, in my opinion. But if you're a perfectionist and elitist, whatever, then you can do it however you want. I don't care. But anyway, the next one that I build is not going to be a semi-hollow body, nor is it going to be this difficult to wire, because I don't want anything to do with that again. But it was a great project, a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. And I hope that bargainmusician.com gives you the same good customer service that they did for me. There's probably 100 other places you can order these kits and be very happy with them too, but that's the one I used. I don't have any affiliation with them or anything like that, but other than I bought it from them and I've been really happy with it. So take that for what it's worth, and good luck if you build one, and feel free to comment and share. Let me know what you think, other than your comments on my guitar playing, because I'm pretty sure it's not going to be good. So thank you. Thanks for watching.